Hey guys, welcome back for another build. Today's build is going to be covering the Cougar MG110-W case. And something else we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about doing a brand new computer cheaply. You've seen some of my other builds, hopefully, and you'll notice that some of them are a little on the pricey side. Some of them are refurbs that used older components. And in this one today, we're going to do it with all new parts that I'm going to talk about here. And I'm going to give a price breakdown and some of the things maybe that you'd want to change, maybe spend that little extra money on. But we'll see what we got here with this one. Now, first thing you're going to notice on this is, of course, I got the ketchup and mustard cables going on. This is pretty cheap here. Cheap-ass power supply. I'm also, you can kind of see them right there going off. I got some fans going on. We'll show you that in a minute. When I put these in, I used this, the Easy DIY Fab version. You can also get a up here version that they sell on Amazon. And here, let me show you this real fast. Here's the Easy DIY Fab, which goes for $34.99. And here's the up here, which also goes for $34.99. 5-piece, both of them basically do the exact same thing. But there is a difference in them. We'll start with that before we get to the other components. The difference between the Easy DIY and the up here in the controller, if we can take a look here. If you look at that, notice how it's hollow in there and you can see right through it. There's nothing going on there. But on this one, let me turn on my light here. If we look up here, I don't know if I can focus in. Maybe I can. I can't really see it, but right here is what I'm trying to show you. Let me find my light here. Just 1 second, people. There we go. Shine a little light right there, right at the bottom. That bottom one that's plugged in, that's for that RGB strip. And the top one is for the power strip, and then the side ones are where your fans plug into. Now you can get 6 fans on this one, plus a couple RGB strips. On this one, you can get, you can see 5 on this side, 5 on this side, so you can get 10 fans, no RGB strip. So that's pretty much the only difference in them. So I guess it's kind of a preference. Like I said, the prices are the same. It's up to you, whatever you want. But let's talk about parts. Like I said, cheap power supply. Everything else in here is cheap. Let's go over what's in here on the PC Part Picker website, I guess. I don't know if you can see that. Let me scroll there a little bit. We got the Athlon 200 GE processor. 54 bucks. The ASRock B450M-HDV Revision 4 motherboard, 59 bucks. Some Kingston Fury 8 gigabyte memory. 46 bucks that's going for. Let's see, the SSD is 256 gig. I actually have a Samsung SSD in here, but I'm just showing you A data for price comparison when you want to price shop. That was, about 40 bucks there. The case was running about 40 bucks. Power supply, the lowest decent one I could see, kind of compared to some of the other ones there, was an EVGA for 32, and I think that's after rebate, so it's like 42. Shop around on those power supplies. Important part, no matter what you do here. Optical drive would be the burner, and that was, 20 bucks. They've been selling those for years. And so, grand total, as you can see right there, $293. So about 300 bucks for this whole computer. That's what this cost. Of course, I'm probably going to sell it for, $350. Maybe a little more. Yeah, probably a little bit more just because of the RGB lights. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't made up my mind yet. But I hooked everything up in it, and I got Windows installed and activated, and I even have it running on the VGA, just to show you that if you got like an older monitor or something like that, and you want to upgrade your computer, just the tower, and you don't want to spend the money on that, or maybe you don't have the money for that, that it absolutely will hook up to your older hardware without too much of a problem at all. Now, when you're working in a case like this is, you know, a cheaper case, not much to it. There's some problems you're going to run into, and that's why I left this side off here so you can take a look at this. I'm not saying this is a bad case. It's not that bad, but there's things that you want to watch out for. Like when you use like cable extensions, say, you'll want to run them through this, or else under here. I mean, I don't think you can get them under there. It's just the gap's not big enough. But this opening right here is really tiny too. And when you go to install the motherboard in there, you'll absolutely want to run this cable up there through first, and then, you know, kind of snake it in there, and then put your motherboard in. Because otherwise, if you try getting this through with the motherboard in there, as you can see how the motherboard is right there? It's right there, man. There ain't no fucking room. I mean, that's just one of the disadvantages of this case. And again, I'm not saying it's a bad case, but that's just something that you'll have to watch out for. And I really wouldn't recommend this case if you're going to do cable extensions. Not only because of that, but because of this. Now, this is actually a fairly short main cable for the power supply compared to a lot of other power supplies. But you'll see that it really, when you go to mount it down in here, let's see if we can get a side view. It kind of sticks out a bit. And the case side, let me grab that here off the ground. You can see it raises up a little bit. And you'd think, well, okay, that's going to give me a little more room. And if you look at that, I guess it's kind of hard to see the exact side from it. A little bit of it sticks out, so you'd think you'd have enough room, but on this one I actually had to kind of push down a little bit to get that in. I think ideally you'd want to take your power coming out from the power supply and maybe run it through this little gap right in here, and then route it up that way through those holes. But you still kind of got a little bit of a clutter going on there. I'm not really too happy with this. I mean, another fix for this would be, of course, to use a modular power supply, which is ideally what I would do. But like I said, I just wanted to show you cheap. So that's, excuse me, that's why I'm using this garbage. And then another thing, like the extra wires for, like, you know, your EPS wire, and then the power wire for the video card if you're going to put a video card in here. It doesn't tuck back too well either. You know, I had to kind of loop it around like this and put it off to the side so it's kind of out of the way, and it is out of the way, but again, it's still kind of tight in there, and I'm not happy with it. Another thing I don't like is this. This is, of course, the connectors for the front panel. Now, the problem I have with this, so usually, okay, let me back up here a bit. When I do my cable management, the way I do it is I will lead everything out from the inside that's going to get tucked, and I will tie strap them off just as they're coming out, and then kind of leave some room here, some loose room, that way in case I want to pull off that front cover here. Maybe I want to blow out the fans, the filter on it or something. I like to have like that little bit of room so that the cable will come out too. And so I can just stuff it back in there and stuff it down. This one, it's not so easy to do. You can probably do it if you play around with it, but I'm not going to do it right here on this build because I'm actually probably going to paint this later on. This is just a build just to show you this case. And then I'll rearrange my wiring a little bit better than what it is. But it just, I don't know. I'm just not happy with the way I think they kind of give you too much cable, honestly. This case isn't too bad, though, I guess, if you want to put stuff in it. I mean, there's room down here. I've got an SSD drive going on right there. You can see it right there. Excuse me. And then, of course, you can put a couple more drives down in there with some rails that they give you. And it's nice. They do furnish you with the rails. And then, of course, you can mount another one right here. And another one right here. And then, of course, you got optical bay. Let me turn this around here. Now, we can take a look at this front. Now, I do have, of course, you know, the RGB lights in there. I'll give you an idea of what you're going to see if you got two RGB lights running in the front. So I actually thought the airflow on the front was going to be worse than what it is. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that don't look too bad. I'll find out when I do some thermals on it. And let's turn this around. There's the front. You can kind of see the RGB lights in there, not too well. So, you know, obviously this is a plexiglass panel. It's not a glass. You know, if it was a glass, you'd see more area usually. And it's not too bad for a basic, I guess. Let's pop this off. Take a look on the inside here. Now, the hard drive rack that I was showing you earlier is removable. You just take out this screw right here and that one right back in there. And it just slides right on out. This optical drive bay is also removable. You got two screws here and two screws here. So these two and those two. And you can just go ahead and pull that out if you need more space. Radiator wouldn't be too bad right now. Those fans are sitting, you know, flush up on there. I'll let you see the gap that you got going on there. So yeah, plenty of room to put a radiator in there as well. So that's not too bad. Up on top here, you see I got one fan going on. And of course, there's room for a second fan, and it will fit on there. I tried it earlier. I was able to get a second fan on this side and still had plenty of gap here so that it wasn't touching the burner. But I don't know. I think it kind of looked kind of tacky. There really wasn't much exposed after that. I mean, if you look at it straight on, you're only going to get, it's maybe a couple inches of the fan that you're actually seeing. So to me, it just wasn't worth it to put a fan up there. That, and it's not really going to make much difference on the cooling either. So I just left it like that, and we went with 4 fans total here on this. Another thing worth noting is the wire management on the inside. Now you see right there where the audio cable is. You can notice that it doesn't really tuck away. It's kind of sticking out there. You know, I'd prefer something that goes into the back part so you don't see it, so it's hidden when the cover's on, but you can see it. I don't really care for that. The rest of it's not too bad. I think that's more with positioning on the motherboard, how the motherboard's set, like the USB 3.0 connector right there. Sometimes they're off to the side, and you can kind of tuck that wire in a little bit more. You can see it's kind of sticking out. The SATA's pretty nice. That's side mount, so that sticks into well. But it's mainly this right here. And what would make this one really nice, this case, I think, in my opinion, is if they put a power supply cage right here, covered all that up, and then change this acrylic glass to a tempered glass. I mean, you know, just kind of picture that. That would look pretty dang good, I think. So, anyways, the parts I got in here, like I said, this is about a $300 PC. You can, of course, upgrade this. I got to check the BIOS on this. I think it's like version 2.3 or something like that. I don't remember. I'll have to look. But I do know that You can run the new generation Ryzen in them. The Ryzen, I'm thinking maybe like a Ryzen 3200G or a 3400G would be nice in here, if you're just going to run integrated graphics like I'm doing right now. And of course, you know, you could always bump that up to something else too, but I would definitely consider a different power supply. Like I said, this is a cheap sumbitch. I think I got it on eBay for like 20 bucks a long time ago. I just took it off the shelf and said, oh, here's a power supply. I'll just use this one, because I didn't want to use one of my more expensive ones. This is not a more pricier build. This is just a cheap build. I'll end up changing the power supply before I sell it. This is just a demonstration. The noise level in it is kind of loud. Not extremely loud. I don't know. Can you hear that? Maybe you can. Maybe you can't. And that's from this, and not so much this. I mean, this is an AMD Stealth, which is different from what the normal AMD cooler would be. I got that actually in the box here, down there. Didn't want to use it. This thing is just shit. What the hell? I mean, when you buy an Athlon 200, this is what you're going to get, is this damn thing. Looks like something from last generation, like the FX series or something. I don't know, but not that great. But then again, this is only a 35 watt power supply, or excuse me, 35 watt processor. So it don't take much to cool it. But I just wanted to give it something a little bit more than the stock, and so that's why I went with the well, stock Stealth cooler instead. It works, you know. Don't want to go water cooled. I mean, what are you gonna do? A water cool at 200 GE for what? You know, duh. But overall, all the other components are pretty solid. I mean, it's I've tested it for, you know, about the last hour now. I've been doing some updating. Not too bad. I'm not going to talk about the performance of it, because I'm sure there's tons of YouTube videos covering the integrated 200 GE. But for 300 bucks, what do you think? Is it worth an investment for you? I think it is. And if your budget's like, say, 500, well, you could use that 300 base guideline for this and use that 200 extra to you know, maybe get a different video card, something a little beefier, maybe a better power supply. I wouldn't go anything less than 400 watts. Try to get something that's a name brand, that's, you know, reliable, like, you know, Corsair, EVGA, Seasonic. That's pretty good. And excuse me. Or maybe you'd want to upgrade the processor. Now, this one has 8 gigs of RAM in here, and I wouldn't go with anything less than 8 gigs anymore these days. And for one thing, let's take a look at this here. I'm going to go to my screen again, and we'll call up the task manager. Yeah, let me go full screen on that, and we'll look at performance. Now, I have it set to the memory tab here, and as you can see, 8 gigs of RAM, but 5.9 gigabytes are available, and that's because the onboard video is using 2 gigs for itself. So if you only put like a 4 gig stick in here, and your hardware reserve is set to 2.1, I mean, you know, you're not going to have much memory to do much. So that's why you kind of want to go 8 gigs in this. Well, I think that's about it for this build. I don't know what I got coming up later. I know I got some more coming up. I haven't decided what I'm going to paint, what kind of cake. You know, it's all kinds of decisions. But that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next build. Bye, guys.